As long as you get my best side.
So you work for the Boulevard Quartz Company? It says Gerard Glynn,
What else?
12/1/95.
Okay. That's when I retired.
That's the year we went to Ireland.
Okay, let me finish. Don't
Yes.
walk away.
I'm here.
It's the 100th anniversary of my mother's birth,
12/1? Her birthday was 12/1?
1895.
Was that a coincidence that you retired that very day, or did you have a
Oh no, I
choice?
told him to do it. What kind of question is that?
Oh, you didn't tell
That's
her.
the day I retired.
Didn't they give you a flex?
Oh, good.
That's good. It's the 100th anniversary. So your mother was born 1895?
Oh,
Yeah.
Mom, you're just gonna
Does she have
sit
any
here.
kids?
It's funny.
Oh, I can't.
All right. Let me just.
Me too, that's why I'm sitting down.
All right, let's do these questions
It's okay to repeat it.
before you forget something. Oh yeah, did you ever have a job?
Did you ever have a job? Did you ever have a job when you were married?
I bet if I do repeat.
He had like
questions,
8 jobs when he got married. You'll
Different
get some
answers.
different answers.
But let's go turn ahead.
I thought you already answered those questions.
He's doing his own ad-libbing.
He's getting the details I never got. Don't worry, we're not showing this tomorrow.
What type of vacation did your family take when all 8 family members were traveling?
That was the one question we didn't know the answer to.
You don't remember?
I never went with them.
Forgot about
I had to
that.
give him a hint.
I forgot about that. You remember your first camping trip?
Yes, I do. We went to Silver Lake with it.
Mom, we're not showing this tomorrow. This is funny stuff. Stop
Yeah, but
huffing and
it
puffing.
was not, I like to hear his memories. I'm not huffing and puffing.
Oh, I thought
I'm
you were
just
huffing.
telling him. No, Silver Lake, oh,
Or where's that?
did we go to Silver Lake?
Yeah, we went to Silver Lake.
It's in New Hampshire?
Yeah, it's in.
Yeah,
It's
with
The
the-
first time that we
State
took,
Park.
She doesn't know that.
first time that you took.
With the,
You don't have to be all the way out of the picture.
with the
Just your
Yorks.
shoulder. Oh, you went with the Yorks first? They broke you in?
No, we went up the mountains to Dolly Cop.
Dolly
remember?
Cop.
Dolly
That's what
Cop?
it was.
It wasn't, it was up the mountains.
You know, it's funny, that movie Bewitched is coming out this summer.
Yeah,
And the character's name is Dick York, right? We
yeah,
lived right next to Dick York.
Yeah,
in
we did.
And Bewitched.
I remember when Dick York got his cheek capped. He was like a car salesman, right? He worked for
No,
Ford.
he was
He
an
was the
accountant.
He was
accountant.
an accountant
And a car
in
dealer.
a car dealership.
Mhm.
It used to be Broadhead Fords.
Oh, yeah, Broadhead Ford.
So, but you remember I didn't even know you went camping with the Yorks.
No, we all did.
No, you were there, Dave.
Well, I didn't even remember camping with the Yorks. I mostly
Do you
remember,
remember
you
that
know,
time we went up to the mountain? And it was just, could I talk about his first trip? All right, what do you remember about the first trip up there?
I was ready to go home as soon as we got up.
natural to camping. You were just...
We bought the cot up so he could sleep on it.
Okay,
because
so you didn't have to
we
do
had
the
to
floor,
drag him
the
there.
And
ground.
I get up in the middle of the night, and it was pitch black.
Oh, no. Did somebody blew a fuse?
No street lights or nothing.
What is this? City
Just
boy
like
in
my
the
mother,
country.
he's never again.
So why did you keep camping all those times if you weren't natural?
Your mother forced me.
She was
And
nature
tell me
girl?
other reason.
Tell me the other reason.
It was a cheap vacation.
Ah, and they took this cheap
The York's
vacation.
brother gave us that tent that slept 10 and had a little dressing
Changing
room.
room?
in it.
Changing
Yeah.
room.
They didn't even
And
buy
he
that.
gave it to us.
No,
He was forced to.
that's the one we took
You
down.
rather would have been in a hotel in the Riviera.
Or at
It
home.
took
Or at home.
It took him and Jerry. I don't know why you weren't helping, but it took him and Jerry.
I don't know what you were doing,
And he
but
never made you do
they worked
anything.
hard putting that
He
tape
didn't
up.
belong to the
He
union.
didn't tell. Yeah, he didn't make you do any hard labor. But Jerry had a joke that
And I've
night.
been paying for it ever since.
And
And
I remember
anyway-
Marie was the fire starter.
Oh
though.
yeah.
She liked
Oh
to
yeah,
do
and you used to cook. I used to like to go with you and Maria.
And I won a camp stove at a Davidson Rubber
That's
picnic.
right. He won.
Gas stove.
Donna, he won the Davidson
Early,
Rubber thing about 3
you know,
times.
getting into pyrotechnics. What New Hampshire beach town was a location of several summer vacations? You said Hampton.
Sounds
Where you
like,
broke your arm. I remember that.
I wrote a poem about it. I read it to my kids this year.
You did.
Yeah? Was it traumatic for you?
It was very traumatic for me.
I like to think of Nantucket. Nantasket. Nobody broke any arms.
What do you mean,
Or maybe I've
Nantasket?
had a little...
Fantastic, where you rented the houses down.
Oh, I remember that. We did that twice. didn't we?
The only house left in the parking lot.
But it was nice. It was close to the beach, right across the
Yeah,
river.
right
It
across
was
the street
nice.
from the little store and everything too.
That was
And there was
nice
skee
there.
ball and the arcade, and
Yeah.
Candy knuckles.
we got skee ball tickets. And
Mother got
things
invited to go down there.
recently.
I could go.
Fantastic.
I was invited to go with my couple of my high school friends. We're going Wednesday, and I was really tempted.
Now, how did you get to Nantasket first? How did that happen?
Well,
Could I? Well, see, I
get
make
both
me go
versions.
two lives, and
It's
you just make some stories. Can you believe things?
really? Why would you think that, Dave?
What did you say, Dan?
Now I know where I got it. I said, well, I can hear both versions. It's all right. Dad first.
Well, her brother had a car,
Uh,
48 Ford.
He's talking.
she had a brother?
Brother Tom.
He's
Uh-huh.
talking when we were 17 and 20.
I want to know how Nantasket started.
And
Yeah.
finally he allowed me to use it.
Uh-huh.
Borrow
So
it.
taking her on a date?
No, he
Take
said,
her-
would you like to borrow the car sometime?
I'd like to take out my sister.
So I said, sure.
You just
And we're
got
driving and driving. And she said, where are you going? Where is it at?
How far of a ride was that?
I never knew you could get there by road.
When I was a kid, we went by boat. We went by a big
You
boat.
thought it was an island.
My Aunt Margie took us there.
All we went by boat out of.
Yeah, I know.
But it's not an island.
Every
no.
year, Margie's Gillette, she worked for Gillette, and she used to
But
bring
it was
all the
the quickest
nieces and
way.
nephews.
You can't get there from here. That's what she was saying.
Yeah, and so, anyway, I was
Oh,
shocked.
so you went back there
We
later.
got home.
She was shocked. When we got home, Tommy was.
How far was the ride?
Oh, I don't know.
Do you know how
How
we
long
got to
does it
go
take you to get
to Nantasket to stay there? I was pregnant with Sheila. It was my mother and wanted to take Margie someplace with us. So she had Queenie go down with her, and they found the place. I never found the place.
Now, where is Nantasket anyways? How far
It's
is it
Hull,
from
It's next to
Massachusetts.
Hull.
It's
And
Hull.
where's Hull?
H-U-L-L.
It's south of Boston.
It's south of
Yeah,
Boston.
it's around
but,
Situate and
So was it like
that area.
30 miles, half an hour
Oh,
drive from
I
Boston?
think it was a good
What is it?
hour.
It's an hour. It was a long drive. You weren't
From
going to bring
Boston.
this girl home early. Forget it.
My brother was shocked when we got back. Nantasket.
You went where?
You know what kind of car it was?
I told you.
What was it? 48 what?
48
I told you.
Ford.
Didn't you take notes?
What kind of
See,
Ford?
he just goes around in circles. I can tell you the facts. So if you don't get the
It
facts.
was black.
You know, the reason Beth is enjoying this too was because when we were growing up, we never got any stories from Dad, and we only got Mom's stories until
Oh, so
Dad
you mean-
retired and he had nothing else to do. So we said, well, okay, I got time to give you.
Do you want me to go into the room again?
No, it's all okay.
No,
I've got
no.
you some
Well, you were
questions in the
having-
kitchen, it's okay. Let me
You
screw
were
on the next
having more
question.
fun when I was.
No, we're still
having fun with you,
This
Mom.
is the fun we were having.
Could I also tell you again?
No, but thank you.
My psychological reason why he went to Nantasket?
Oh, yes, okay.
Because
Why not?
his stories in his family was, his father had just bought a new car shortly before, he died, and he was teaching
Oh, you
him how
bought a
to
new
drive. No, his father,
Mhm.
before he died, had bought a car and was teaching,
Was it really new?
he was only
I
6
was
months old.
6
You
months old when he
He
died.
died.
I didn't know.
You don't remember the car?
I didn't drive it or
He had a
anything.
house with a garage and everything, and
And so
had
his
owned a
father
six-family
took
house.
Eleanor to Nantasket.
No, when they went for a drive, that's where they went. Ellen
That's
told me
where they
that,
would go.
that they would go for a
So
drive.
it was in my
Say, let's
genes.
go on a
I had
drive.
to get the
It's a
drive.
And so I think he
Nothing
had
to
that
do
in
with
his
taking a
mind.
girl
I
out for a
really
long
do
ride.
think that's why that day he took me to Nantasket.
Destiny, that's
So-
all, just destiny.
What did happen when you got back?
Nothing.
Did he ever let you use the car again?
No.
You
He
gotta take
said,
the car, you gotta marry
You
that
went
girl.
where?
He was in shock.
You were gone that long, you've gotta marry this girl.
He never, he knew him from 8th grade. He
You
told,
told me some
my
story.
brother Tommy told me last year that in the 8th
All right,
grade.
next question.
He was away for a
Mom,
year.
we're on a
Oh.
system here, you can fill in the
I was gonna tell you it
background
was like history.
on demand. What Maine beach
That's why I go
town
back
was the
in the room.
location of several summer vacations?
I know.
York. Did you like York? Okay.
Yeah.
Did you like it better than Nantasket?
We still go to
or Hampton?
York. Back we
What
went
was
a
your
couple
favorite
weeks
of
ago
those?
when we
Going
took
over
Gertrude with us.
Of those three
Oh,
beach
yeah, we
towns,
took Gertrude
Nantasket,
over
Hampton,
to-
and York, what's your
And we
favorite?
stopped at Brown's and had ice cream.
Cool, it's
Yeah.
still there. Better than Gold Lakes. What's your favorite of those three towns?
What was the three?
Hampton, York, or Nantasket?
Oh, it would have to be York, I guess.
You like it? It's closest? No, it's not
Well, we
closer than
kinda
Hampton.
like
but
it. It's really got everything, you know.
It's close, it's quieter.
Yeah, it's just a little village and it's nice.
Okay, what year did Patsy and Rardy travel to Ireland for the first time? 1986. And that's because,
No.
what took you so long to get over there?
We weren't
Yeah.
gonna go. All right, let's him.
I think you should answer.
Because Mary had been several times already, hadn't she?
Yeah,
26.
yeah.
What took you so long to get over there?
I don't know. Just chicken, I guess.
You heard it was full of poultry.
I
You should
broke
say-
out, you know.
You should say, why did you
She
go?
kept saying,
Mary wanted us to go and meet the relatives.
Hmm.
And she thought that one of the nephews,
Looked like me when I was younger.
they wanted to see if
That's
they-
what she said,
she
anyway.
wanted him to go.
I
so-
never saw it myself.
Well, you met
So
him.
we went with her.
You met him.
Which
We
one was
went
him?
with her. What?
Which
Oh,
one was him?
what's his name? His name is Padre.
Audrey.
His name is
It was
Glenn. His name
Mary and
Patrick
Thomas
Glynn.
Glenn's son.
is Mary. You know Mary.
Thomas
She had
Glynn
the three
died.
girls or something. And her little girl looked like Sheila when she was a baby. Remember? She had that long.
Martina.
Okay, here's this.
I
where
have a
do-
question about that though. Was there any truth to you not wanting to go there because of your mother's description of life there?
Oh, yeah.
So you were reticent?
No, she always say, I don't know why anybody would ever want to go back there.
So she didn't
They've
really
got
do that.
nothing
So
there.
they didn't have the desire. It was only coming to
Nothing
be at that
She
time.
wanted to go back for.
It was hard.
She said it was hard work
It
and
was
her
all
mother
hard
died
work,
in the
yeah.
fields picking potatoes.
Of course, she was only, what, 17 or 18
She was
when she
18
came
when she
over.
came over, but she said it was
Which
a
would've
hard
been like
life. And why would
1912.
anybody want to go back there, she said.
So she didn't make it sound too attractive. But once you got there, it was pretty nice by the 80s, right?
Oh, yeah.
You went back. How many times have you been now?
Just the choice.
Just twice. Till we go with Jerry. Where did-
What year did we
Yeah,
go to
I really
Hawaii?
want to bring Jerry. But I don't know
I
if
ain't
Dad
go,
doesn't think
so
he's
it
going to.
doesn't
You didn't go?
end up my
No,
life.
Dad doesn't think he's going to be able to go because.
You told him how bad it was.
No, his wife doesn't want to fly.
Oh, well, he can
So
go
unless
without
he
it.
leaves her
He's
without.
been places without it.
Mhm.
Where do Patsy and Rardy own a timeshare? Now, is this total coincidence that it's right there in Kate? Did you buy it from Marie or something?
No, Marie had a
Marie.
client.
Uh,
The client was in financial ruin or pretty close to it.
because of this timeshare.
No, not because of it. This was one of his assets he'd like to have got rid of and
Mhm.
made some money on or get out of talk for.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess he was taken over by the bank or something.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So we met for lunch. She said, meet me for lunch when I have something to offer you. And we bought it.
The timeshare.
A timeshare. You've realized we
Now,
got two,
as
and
you
I
call it
said
an asset,
to
but
her
does that mean you
recently,
ever rented it
"Why
out
did you
or
keep it?"
anything
She
like
said,
that? or-
no, but you
know.
can.
You can. So it's a hypothetical asset.
Actually,
No, I
There's
said
no-
he had
it
an
was
asset,
like
but anyway,
between $3,000 and $5,000. We paid 12 and over.
you can set it up for that agency at the place to rent it out and never,
Right.
use it or exchange it.
At profit.
Well,
If you don't
how
own
much
it, you
get
just
out
own
of
a
it, but they
timeshare.
set rates on it and stuff like that.
But it's proven to
But
be
it's
a
sleep six.
really nice
It's
deal.
a townhouse. It has a jacuzzi. It
Yeah, it
has,
sounds nice. It's just far away.
And but
4 hours
wherever
away
we
from
go, we exchange. Like we went to
Right.
Phoenix, had a lovely place. You're gonna come with us.
we went to
Oh, we
St.
did ask you
Martin.
to go.
We went to, where did we go?
good time to get out of LA is September or October.
Yeah.
So you did go to St. Martin this time, sure.
We did, but it was a year after the hurricane. I think that's why it was available, because
It was wiped out. What game was always played at Father's Day cookout in New Hampshire? Dodgeball, do you remember the first dodgeball?
No.
When was the first Father's Day? I mean, they had 40 years in New Hampshire, but that wasn't the first Father's Day, though.
well, no,
Who are they?
because it was a couple of years, because I said to my mother one day,
They
I'm
had
tired of
one.
going to Boston for every holiday. Can't you come to my house one day? And she said, well, pick a
Oh,
holiday,
watch
and I
out, she's
picked
getting wired.
Father's Day.
She's taking
So
cables out
after
of
that, they
herself.
would come up.
It was a
But she
couple
would
of years
never come
into-
in the holidays, any holidays, nobody would come.
So that's what she means when she socked it away.
But actually, you know, I was reading about Father's Day recently that Father's Day actually only got completely legitimized in the 60s or something.
Really? Well, see, I used to go
Well,
down
look that
Mother's
up.
and Father's Day. I was always down in Boston.
Look it up right now, so you'll have that bit of
That little
information.
tidbit.
No, that's all right. Well, that's
Put
the
that in
reason
my-
why, because we
What
frequently...
number child is
Dodgeball
Roddy and his
tomorrow?
family? Last night, but there was 11, right? Because...
I don't know what the question was. What was the question?
12. So this is an
Three.
incomplete answer.
What was the question?
I was wondering if there
What
was.
child is
The first
Roddy?
3 daughters all died before they
Well, I
were
don't
2
think you have
years
to
old.
bring that up. Can't you
First
just say you were the
three
last one
Did we
daughters.
say he
living?
was the 9th living?
He's
Yeah,
looking
don't
for
say
history, I'm giving him history.
I know, but I
died.
don't want that brought up at the party. He was the
No, but
ninth.
he needs to know the correct answer in case there's anybody that technically
Yeah,
says
yeah.
that answer.
Before they were 3 years old.
Nobody's
The
gonna-
first 3 before they were 2 years old.
Frank wouldn't say that?
But didn't he have a previous wife, right?
He did, Eleanor
Which
and...
was
and,
Eleanor and Margie's mother.
And,
Her name was Marie
uh-huh.
McMahon.
But you don't...
Mom,
But-
this is not going to
So
be part
that
of this
9
tomorrow. It's just entertaining
includes
information.
Eleanor and Margie?
No.
Please don't mention that.
It doesn't include, so there was 11 kids that your father had that grew to maturity,
Yes.
right?
No,
No, 9 to
Nine.
maturity.
that's why you shouldn't mention the dead to anybody.
So
Alright,
I asked this,
then-
if there were 9 kids and you're, plus Eleanor and Margie, but you're saying 9
No.
who grew to
Including-
maturity? Okay, plus the 3.
Nana had 7 living children. She had 3 that died.
Nana
I'm
had
sure
7.
we don't
That's
want
what I
that
wanted to know.
mentioned. There's no need to
And
mention.
Nana had 3 that died too?
Nana
Nana
had
had
3.
10
Nobody else.
pregnancies.
Nobody else had them.
But the first wife,
The first wife
First
had
wife only had the 2.
Eleanor and Margaret,
she didn't
and
have
she
any
may have had
children
a
that died, but we don't know.
Yes.
child that we don't know.
Okay.
She had miscarriage, I think. Which coming over something, I remember that's part of the story. But don't mention any of those. You can mention that he was the baby of 9.
33 children.
That's not what this is.
So
Huh?
her first 3
It's
children
just-
were
it-
miscarriages?
are
Or, I mean,
only-
died?
No,
You know,
No, they were just interspersed?
no.
no, 3 daughters of the first 4 children died.
And Tom was the 3rd child, and he lived. But her first 2, they were 6 months and 9 months. I mean, these weren't little, they were
Right.
chubby babies. She sat one Sunday afternoon and told us the whole story.
So that was a rough start to
One
get
of
7
them was
kids.
Christmas.
Christmas Eve, one of them was.
Wow.
And she
And
had
in
a,
those
she had a baby
days-
herself.
You had to wash them up yourself and
That was
lay them out in your own
Spooky
home.
fun.
Yeah.
Wasn't that awful?
How do you ever go on?
But
with
she
what-
said Tom was like scrawny, and the baby that died after him, she said
You want
he
to plug it in?
was round and fat. And so they don't know what the deaths were.
He
They
broke it.
think it was the same thing that Mary's. What is that thing you get in the spine?
Meningitis?
Meningitis. Meningitis. They think it was meningitis.
Did you run out of
And
questions?
but
No, I'm
we
just getting the
run out of
details.
answers.
This is a complicated thing, but it's
Rita
good to
and
know.
Teresa
Her
and
name was Marie, what?
Bridget.
McMahon.
But they were, you know,
McManus?
They weren't-
McManus.
That was her maiden
crib
name.
deaths or whatever. They just
Right.
died from being sick. You know, in those days they
And
didn't
Margie and Bernie were the last couple that had a 50th anniversary.
Margie and Bernie.
Flynn.
Babe, we used to call Babe. And we went to Hawaii with them shortly after. We had a good time too.
That was in '85.
Went to Pearl Harbor.
There was in '85, the last 50th anniversary.
We would have had a better time.
Okay, number of child is Patsy and her family, 3rd. And there weren't any deaths in your mother?
No.
No, thank God, it was pretty healthy. My grandmother had 10 and she didn't have any. There was no talk of her having a miscarriage or anything either.
No talk of that.
No, I mean, Nan told me that she had a miscarriage one time.
All right, let's start from the beginning again, because I didn't really get a lot of detail on this. How old were Patsy and Rardy when they were first dating? So it says 17 and 20. 17, how old were
went
you
to
when
the
you
prom.
graduated?
We went to the prom.
For the prom?
We went
Was
to
your
the prom.
first date?
Yes.
Was your first
It
date?
was dramatic.
Well, yes, because before that, we used to, our routine, you know,
I'd meet
people
her
that-
inside the theater.
he'd meet me inside the theater.
Before
You know,
or after the
you know,
prom?
like you used to do?
I think it was before, David. You know, it was 50 years ago. I can't remember. But that he did that for quite a while, probably till the prom. But this was the whole group would go. But then Audrey Carr used to laugh about, oh, you got to meet up with them again inside.
Yeah.
But in this same corner at Hyde Square, it was the movie theater plus the drugstore, you know.
All
and
right,
the-
so 20
in
years
the
old, how old were
bowling
you
alley,
guys?
which
You
had a
working at
pool
the same
table, and he
place?
was a
No,
really
you were
good
dating
bowl
he was
shark.
before you were
You what?
dating.
Well, they all played pool. They
I
were
worked for a
pool
while
sharks, you
at
know.
the,
They played pool and they were. I used to like to watch them play
Hotel.
bowling. It was
Hotel?
really good.
As an elevator operator.
You were an elevator operator
Yeah, even now.
when you went to the prom with her?
I'm not
It was
exactly
before
sure.
he met me.
And he had
He was
someone
an elevator
famous.
operator before he met you.
Yes.
What was he doing when you
Well,
started
you know
dating?
what?
What?
He was doing nothing.
He was
His-
Unemployed.
They let him stay home, unemployed, and gave him money and. He
Ever
was.
have anyone
You know what
famous
Alana
in the
kept
elevator?
saying? He was very
Yeah.
sickly, you know.
Harry
He was
James.
away when his 8th grade. He spent it
He was
in
married
Reading, Mass
to
at the
Betty
TB
Grable.
sanitarium.
It wasn't
He had
7th
TB.
grade like we wrote over
It was
here?
You know
eighth
Betty Grable?
Yeah.
She was the biggest pen-up of the World War II.
Wasn't it 8th grade?
What about her?
He had some, I asked him if
She
he ever
asked
had,
if
Oh, yeah.
any famous people were on my elevator. And I
Oh,
said,
Betty Grable?
No.
Harry James.
Oh, yeah. He's a
He's a
musician.
Who was
musician, he had
Betty?
his own band,
Who was
And he
Betty?
married Betty Grable.
and he was married to her.
Okay, Harry James.
And she was the #1 pen-up in the World War II.
That
But
was
you never
before
saw
I
her,
met
you just
me.
had a picture of her in the elevator.
1 degree from Betty Grable.
No, I've never saw her.
That's, he played a trumpet or
And,
something? Anyway, when I met him, he wasn't working. Was your mother away?
Jackie E. Linnet used to be a comedian.
Uh-huh.
Big fat guy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he was
He was on TV.
when TV started, he was on TV. He was like Jackie Gleason, you know, kind of loud. But,
So you were unemployed when you first started dating, so you had to get a job to marry.
so
her.
no wonder he met me inside the theater, huh?
No, I had to stall as long as I could.
And then they finally said, okay, we get that job for
You
you.
used to tell her where you hung around at the music store and bought the,
With the
When I was,
whenever he had
A
money,
wee
that's what he
lad.
would do, buy the long playing music at the music
When
store.
you were what?
a wee lad.
A wee lad, 20 years old, hanging out at the
Didn't you spend a lot of time there and buy your...
Oh, I bought all kinds of records, yeah.
And
Still
somehow,
has them.
how did you get the Philco player?
The what?
The player at home?
Oh,
that you-
somebody had a yard sale.
Never heard that one. That's where they got it? It was a Philco player at his mother's house. His mother had a lovely house, kept a lovely house.
All
brought
right,
up
so
those
you see,
9
what
children
day?
by herself, Donna, and she was 38. But it was, you know, house, church, school. I mean, she didn't, her house.
She didn't go out nights.
And she didn't let them go very far either. They didn't go very far. Then Sunnyside
What day
Street.
were you and Patsy married? June 25th. Now,
Saturday, June 25th.
yes.
the exact
The
same
same
day.
as tomorrow.
Hottest
But
day
what
of the
about
year.
the proposal? Did you like to have a one-day proposal thing?
No, I said, what the hell?
What the hell?
Yeah.
What was the proposal? Were you pressured into it, or did you
Yeah.
propose? You bought a ring?
I was pregnant.
So you were pregnant with the idea. I mean, did you buy her a ring before you asked her, or is it just like you were talking about it and then you bought her a ring, or what? Where'd you get that ring?
Where did I get it?
And before or after the wedding?
Downtown Boston. Oh, before.
In the jewelers?
So did you propose her before getting the ring?
Actually, we got it through Dorothy. wasn't it?
Dorothy's husband that I was working with had a small manufacturing company, and she said, you know, you could go into the jeweler's building to this certain jeweler and just mention his name. So that's what we did. And they treated us really
Okay,
like
so
we
you
had money.
did the
so we
proposal
got
before you got
BS.
the ring. Proposal first, ring second. And who proposed to who?
She proposed.
What's your story?
When she found out he was pregnant.
I'm not gonna talk about it.
Oh, get in the spirit. If I don't know it, I make it up. You know that.
Proposal first, ring second, that's what I've
Because
got.
actually he didn't propose.
You didn't?
He said he would
She's
if he
still
had some
waiting.
money.
So he proposed the idea, but not, formally. He said it sounds like
It
a
wasn't
good
formal, so
proposal.
we got the ring.
Right. Did you help pay for the ring?
No,
No, but you had the family
He
discount.
paid for this, but you know what,
Huh?
in the past, his mother had bought the rings for Joe's wife. and
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, we were just, I think we were too independent for those people. Up until that point, mother had done everything, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
But we went in town and got a ring and he paid the money. He was always, even if he only made a little money, he was always very good with money and always had, like he made payments on that ring. And never fussed about it. Never fussed about things.
And how did
Money
you
thing.
decide on Martha's Vineyard as your honeymoon destination?
I don't believe this story, but he tells this story.
Let's hear him tell it. With that preface.
I don't remember.
What was the last story you were telling
Hold on,
somebody?
let him think for a second. Oh yeah, what was the last story you made up about
You were
this?
telling about somebody about Martha's Vineyard. The place.
Oh, when we decided, I am not sure exactly why we decided, except you had been there before.
Oh, I had been to Nantucket.
But anyways, we
and
sent
wanted to go
a
to.
deposit check to the hotel.
Uh-huh.
Now, this was June 25th, 1955, and they sent the check back and said, this is really before our season begins,
Mm.
so you might consider going someplace else.
I don't remember.
Their season begins July 4th.
Oh.
Can you imagine?
I don't
Starting
remember
that
that,
late,
but that's
yeah.
kind of happened.
That did happen.
Well, so did you
It
go to
didn't
another
probably happen
place then?
because he handled the
No,
money.
You
handled
said
the money.
you'll come
So
early,
probably
and it's
did.
okay, and you'll hang
Oh,
out by
we-
yourself?
Right.
It's a honeymoon, you don't need a lot of company?
Yeah,
Exactly.
so when Rosemary got married, Queenie got rooms there, and she didn't know it, but she said we could pick what room we wanted. We stayed in the same room we stayed when Rosemary got married, remember? She got married down there. And-
Rosemary got married, who were you talking about?
The
Rosemary
only
got
one-
married in Connecticut.
But they had
Oh,
a wedding party on the vineyard and actually invited people and.
You mean with Mark or the other previous husband?
Previous one.
Oh, okay. No, I
Anyway,
just-
Queenie had got, so we stayed at the same
Hotel,
room,
same
the
room.
same room. I knew it
They
was.
stayed at the same.
No, they
no,
did.
Queenie got
We got a
rooms.
couple of rooms.
Oh,
We had
so you
one.
went back?
She said you could pick what room you want, and I picked the room that we stayed in.
So there was no phone calls, this is letter writing, checks coming back and forth? from the-
Yeah, well, I don't know, I might have called them, but I'm not sure.
Uh-huh.
And I just sent it back and said we'd be planning to come anyway.
And we went down there and stayed in the, what's the name of the, Wesley, right on the,
Yeah, and
right on the.
that
water
week
tank.
we were there,
Uh-huh.
they were dredging the harbor.
Yeah, so every morning at 6 o'clock,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the drill.
They tried to talk you out of
This.
And then they
That's
said,
probably
well,
why they
we
tried to
could,
talk us.
give
You
you
know.
a tour of the island. And car will leave the hotel at 9-ish.
About 9-ish, so we were making fun of that because he said,
It's still what they say is about. They don't give you an exact time.
yeah, about 9. And it turned out to be a very cloudy, gray day that he took us out on a tour of the island.
Down to Chilmarcus.
Yeah, we went down a Gayhead. We had a lovely time.
Very nice.
He learned how to like lobster that week.
Oh.
His mother used to soak fish in salt. I found out later when I went to the house that's fish, because he never would eat it. Fish. But he would come to my mother's house on Friday night because she used to buy frozen haddock, and cut it in pieces and bread it and fry it, and it was delicious. And he'd eat that. And so when I had his mother's fish, I realized why he didn't eat it. She salted it first.
Where did they live when they first were married, Mrs. Sheridan Street now?
It's off of Hyde Square.
Now, how'd you find this apartment? Did you find it or did she find it?
Probably in the newspaper or something.
Yeah, because I don't know how
So-
we found out.
Came back from Martha's Vineyard and you moved to Sheridan Street.
Well, we must have had it beforehand. You don't go looking for an apartment when you get back.
We came back with our suitcases. Okay, where do you live?
But you never lived with your parents.
No. They didn't have any room.
Right, that's why you had to get
Well,
back.
no, my mother still had all her children home, and, 5 of them. And,
Well, Agnes, Frank, and Jim was.
and all of his family were home. Agnes and Frank and Jim were home. And Eleanor lived at his house.
Yeah.
Until we got married.
Now,
then
how long
until,
did you live in Sheridan Street, do you think?
Oh, I've been
Oh, I know.
6 months or.
Well, I was pregnant, so I must have lived there a year because we hated to tell them we were going to leave because they were nice people. But my mother found us the next place, didn't she? No, was your aunt was moving out of Wyman Street? Is that?
Yeah.
His
So we
mother-
lived on Wyman Street after that, just around the corner, across from the church.
Was that a better place?
It was.
It was poor heat, but other than that, it was
It
fine.
was nice big rooms. My mother loved it. We should have let my mother marry him and go. But anyway,
And your mother has
it was an
your mother
old
has
house and it
a
had
funny
mantle
story
pieces,
about the
you know.
guy coming and check the heat.
Yeah.
Oh. Guy came to the back door. No, we had coal.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we had to go down and shovel coal.
Shovel. This wasn't just as a kid, but you had to do it in your own house as a kid
Well,
too,
his,
right?
Yeah.
well, his
Shoveling
mother
coal was
did
not
it
unusual.
most of the time. He did it not very often. But anyway,
Your mother with the one lung
So-
was down there shoveling coal?
Yeah.
so anyway, and she lived to 83.
Doing all
she
the
lost
wash,
lung when she was
ironing
40.
all the wash.
Well, she
Your
would
mother
iron all
lived
the
to-
underwear. She was one of those people that ironed the underwear and the cloths.
Your mother lived
the
to
dish
83. How
towels.
old
She
did
would iron.
your father live? How old was your
43.
His father.
No, but your father, how old?
My father was 83, I think. Well, he died in 1990 and he was born in 1906.
Do the math.
83?
84?
84, yeah. Was going to be 84. He was 83. Yeah, he died
So
in
they were
February.
both the same age when they died.
Oh, my mother.
Grandpa and Nana.
Yes, and that, but they,
Different churches.
yeah.
Which was a big thing back then,
What were you talking about before then?
churches.
I didn't finish my
I'm in charge of the conversation.
Moving,
Alright.
moving back with the
Moving
parents.
right along.
Oh, yeah, we'll go back with the parents, we never do that.
How many
In
children
fact,
did
my
they
mother,
have
they
before
weren't too
moving to
happy
New
to see
Hampshire?
us on Sundays.
So why did you move to New Hampshire at that time? Was
Because I was working at Gillette and I lost my job there.
How'd you lose that?
Now, wait
They
a
were
minute.
cutting back all kinds of jobs.
Well, didn't they offer you a job in the daytime?
What were you doing at Gillette?
I worked on the third shift running the tabulating machine,
So that was after your computer
running
training?
the
Yeah.
computer cards
So your
in.
first thing was in Boston at the Gillette thing? Pre-computer, early computer. What were the course called? Was it called computer? that you took something?
No, it was electronic accounting.
Electronic accounting.
But he was right under the, he was
Right.
driving a laundry truck and he told me one day,
And the guy that
guys
I worked for
these guys
at
took a course and they
Girltown,
got a job for
Girl
$100 a
Town?
week.
Mm-hmm.
which is Girl Clothing, which
Uh-huh.
I'll be right about that. Anyways, he got a job at Davidson and offered the job to me, to work for him.
Uh-huh.
Work with him.
So at
We did
Girltown,
know
you were doing
David.
the same thing, the electronic, what do you call it? Tablet?
Counting, tabulating machine, yeah.
Tabulating.
Yeah. You had to wire boards to do.
So you worked at Gillette, then you went to Girltown.
No, the
No.
other way around, Girltown. I worked for
Oh.
him in Girltown, then I went to Gillette.
Gillette, but he went to
And
Davidson.
he went to New Hampshire. He was originally from New Hampshire anyway.
And,
Make
where
it
did you take
stop.
this course, electronic?
I took this course in Ward's School of Accounting or Electronic Accounting, whatever it was.
Was that before David was
When
born or
I was
after?
working as a laundry truck driver
Oh,
at
okay.
Clearwater.
Not happy,
Uh-huh.
looking for something permanent to do.
I hated it.
That's why you were taking a course.
Was it the
That's why-
hours, was it the,
Yeah, then
You had
he
to
overheard the guy saying,
Sell laundry?
did you sell laundry service?
Yeah.
didn't like it.
So needless to say, I was always on the bottom of the list.
You're not
Sales
big into
quota
sales?
just didn't make it.
Right.
Runs in the family.
And what is the address of their house in New Hampshire? Did you look at other houses when you came up to Dover?
Yeah, across the street.
Just, you looked on this block. You
Yeah.
weren't going
That-
too far.
The real
It was
estate
close enough
guy
to-
really wanted us,
to
he
live.
said, why don't you buy a house? You know, a big house, big old house downtown, and I said, well, you know what I was thinking? I knew people, you know, like my friends had bought capes. It seemed like that was a neat little house to buy, you know, neat enough house. I was thinking he would have to do things in an old house. And, you know, in his house, Frank did it, you know,
Mhm.
and Jim supervised or something, but he
It'd be
never
too much work.
had to do that, like you
So
didn't
this
have
house
to
was
do it, or
relatively
he-
new?
It was built
Well,
in
it was-
44
Uh-huh.
for $6,500.
Mm-hmm.
And we paid 11, no, we paid 11 for it, 11.9 or something,
Yeah,
11.4.
11.9, yeah.
But when we came up to the real estate, jeez, I didn't want to come up at all day.
She didn't unpack
Excuse
for
me.
4 years.
I didn't. And my sister would call me and I'd feel like saying, I'll be right there. Oh, come on soon. But what happened?
But I was thinking of you people getting the good fresh air.
But how,
Country living,
you were thinking of getting away from our family in Boston, that's what you were thinking of.
that too.
No, you know
And the
what?
schools are in big trouble then too.
Schools.
No, we did not want that.
It was the 60s.
Kevin used to say that, that's why.
What's that?
Kevin used to say, we left because Boston was having a hard time.
We're
You know, with the busing and.
trying to get the kids fed, that's all.
Yeah, that's all we had.
You went because the
We-
job was there.
Yes, not because of the school. Jerry was only first grade.
No,
It had
I'm just
nothing to
saying.
do- Yeah, but that
there's a lot
was the period, yeah, and Kevin used
So
to say.
you thought you could you got a better job up here than you could get in Boston?
Well, that wasn't it.
The thought was that somebody offered me a job.
Uh-huh.
He had already
It
knew
was in my hand.
So you didn't have to look for a job?
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
So now he says to me, are you packed yet? Every time he comes home. No, not packed. I didn't even want to go.
She kept stalling.
Aren't you packed yet?
But moving out of Boston must have been a big deal for you more than just getting a job. I mean, if you didn't want to move out
I
of Boston
thought it
for
was an
summer-
adventure
He
back
thought
then.
it
was
was,
an
he
adventure?
really did think it was an adventure. I
What
did
was the
not.
adventure part? You hadn't done a lot
The
of traveling.
unknown.
Had you been out of Massachusetts a lot before? Where had you gone besides
Providence.
Providence?
maybe,
Nantasket.
So this was like the second state you'd been to,
Yeah.
besides
Was the
New Hampshire.
fact that,
big travel.
even buying the house was no problem because
Mhm.
Davidson was a new company that had come into, you know, had been here for a little bit.
Mhm.
So he actually went.
58 they started.
Yeah, and we were
came
here
up
when?
with 63.
63.
And then they became the largest
Yeah,
employer of
so I
the
mean-
state,
All right.
and now they're just about completely gone.
Dover
It was an
turned
error.
out to be
It was
really
an error.
nice.
So they were here long enough for me to get a
Nice
You had that
living.
perfect cushy retirement package and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
well, that remains to be seen. I
What?
might lose the pension.
Oh yeah, they're still juggling with that?
Not the pension.
The pension.
Not the pin!
Oh,
The company that bought the Textron
Mm-hmm.
is going into Chapter 11.
We're losing the health insurance at the end of the year.
Really?
Definite, yes. I'm really scared if it is the pension.
So,
We'll sell
we
the
don't
house
know.
and move into one of those places, Beth. I'm not worried. God will take care
But
of
you're glad you came up to New Hampshire.
Oh, yeah.
it. And in the end, it took me maybe 5 to 10 years, but I realized it was a good move. I miss my family terrible. And we had both had parents, you know, and we missed them. And, you know, every 2 weeks we would take you guys down.
How long
Beth,
were you up here
Gina
before you
Hollis
started
about it
driving?
now,
What
but-
year was that?
What?
What year was it when you started taking driving lessons?
Oh, when I was 30, so it was, tell me.
64? Just a year after you moved here then?
yes. I was desperate because now he has this new job and he's working
All the time.
All the time. You know, at night,
And the only way
weekends.
she could get back to Boston was to learn how to drive. And drive
So one day he
herself down.
called me up because I was miserable.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I think you better call up and take driving lessons. I had started them in Boston, but, you know, with the streetcar right outside your door, you don't care about driving, you know?
Right.
So I didn't really follow through on it. So
You
I
ride
was,
for free?
desperate
Ride for
up
free
here.
because you're your dad?
no,
Unless it was his
I sent
car.
Jerry to
They
kindergarten
weren't that
up the
socialized.
street.
That's good. What color is your house? Why have you never painted it besides white?
As it's
It's
aluminum.
aluminum. I mean, it's not vinyl, it's aluminum.
Was it
We
aluminum when
should
you
have-
bought it?
We asked somebody recently
But it
to
comes
take
in
it
different
off, and
colors.
they said, oh no, we won't take
It
it
was
off.
already
We wanted
here.
to take it off and put new vinyl on
And
it.
they said why?
Because to take it off is a big job, I guess.
Oh, they don't do aluminum anymore, they just do vinyl?
Yeah. We should have moved when I was pregnant with her, but we didn't. That was a choice that Tabitha wanted to add it on
Shoulda, woulda,
instead.
coulda.
Now, what about golfing?
Golf?
Yes.
You get this little white ball that you put down on a tee, and you swing a club at it, and hopefully you can hit it.
And did
And if you hit it far enough, you might get close enough to the hole you want to punch it into.
Did you enjoy that? I remember you used to go golfing a little bit.
Yeah, you do remember, huh?
Did, except for the lightning rod I was carrying around.
Yeah?
Only recently
You didn't like
did he
the-
admit that, but I knew at the time that's why he stopped.
You didn't want to be struck by lightning?
Oh,
Well, you're in an open field.
A lot of people golf without getting
I know, but-
electrocuted.
I know.
a lot of people are not afraid
Some
of thunder and
people have
lightning.
unnatural fears.
And that's what
You know,
you didn't like lightning.
his mother put the fear of thunder and lightning in them. She used to spray the holy water,
She
Shut
close
all the lights
everything,
off and spray
everything
off.
off.
the holy water.
shut everything off,
You
yeah.
couldn't talk on the phone.
When the lightning,
yeah, when it
the
was
lightning
thunder and
came, she was
lightning,
very afraid of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think she put
Turned all the
that,
lights out. You
Yeah.
got this story before, right?
I don't
No, she
remember
would
that.
spray holy water in every room in the
Yeah.
house.
Holy water.
Yeah.
And then kill live chickens. And
No, that's the other witch.
so
So she was
he never
spraying holy water in every
admitted that
family
for
house.
years, but
Oh,
I
okay.
knew at the time when he stopped that was why,
Mhm.
because,
So golfing was only so
It
fun.
eats
If you
away
could do
at-
it indoors, it would
Yeah,
have
if
been
you
better.
did
Just
it
eats
indoors.
away.
If you did it on sunny days.
And
Yeah,
this
but
is New Hampshire.
When you're in a league, you go that.
He was in a
particular day.
league, yeah,
And
and
I
he-
was in the Davidson League.
yeah.
I didn't play that well. I was just starting out anyway, so.
He didn't mind giving it up, because I knew he was, you yourself, David,
You didn't mind giving
didn't
it up
like
because what else?
thunderstorms. Does he like,
Besides thunderstorms,
or
you didn't like?
getting wet? What he didn't like was getting wet.
Oh, yeah.
Clicky.
Because we used to
Quickie,
stand at the door and say, well, we don't have to wonder where David is. David will be right here, because as soon as it started raining, he'd be,
I picked that up from
The
my
sky is
grandmother.
falling
She
and
used to
it's
sprinkle me with holy water. I didn't like getting wet that way either. What type of nurse is Patsy?
I don't think that's the proper question either, but that's all right. My cousin took the course and is finishing up. She's
Yeah.
age 60.
Who is your
Guess what the
favorite
excitement
grandchild?
thing is, Dave? You're gonna meet your godmother.
She's coming?
Yeah.
Jane?
Yeah.
She'll be so excited to meet you.
Yes. I'm in her will.
I know.
Well, you were.
gotta
right?
vote.
Who's your favorite grandchild?
Oh, I couldn't say that.
How many grandchildren did you imagine you were gonna have?
Well, we just figured we were gonna have 4 kids at least, but
We did talk
I never
about that.
talked
We
about
talked about
grandchildren.
4.
You thought 8 kids probably would have been too many? Both of you came from larger families. Why didn't
Yeah,
you
so we
aspire
thought
to
4 would be nice.
a nice
we didn't want-
manageable thing?
We didn't want 10 or
You
8.
decided against
We
10,
didn't want 10 or 8. Ended up having 6.
which was not so bad.
Which is not so bad, is what I told Janet. You tell people nowadays you had 6. Oh my God.
And who are you named after?
How did you do that?
A saint.
St. Gerard? St. Rardy?
Gerard Magellan, patron saint of mothers.
Yeah.
Having trouble with
And
her.
tell the rest of the
Sir
story.
Henry Alex V.
It wasn't Magellan. No N at the end. It's Magella.
Magellan or whatever.
But tell him what happened when your mother said to name you Gerard Magella. And at that time, the mothers didn't go. I didn't even go until you were baptized.
What?
The mothers didn't go to the baptism.
Christening?
No, they didn't go to the church. I
Why
mean, they
not?
were home.
She didn't go either.
I didn't go up until
What was the
I had
belief?
Beth. Huh?
Well-
I don't have any recollection. We just took it for granted because that's what everybody did.
They were
Just the
taking your
fathers
child-
and the godparents would go to the church, have him baptized, and bring him home for the
Oh, was
baptism.
that just the Irish or the Italians did that too, or what?
No, I think that was
I think it
baptism.
was the religion or whatever.
Now the father
So
told,
the godfather thing is a big deal then? Because it was a fatherly thing, but there was godmothers there.
well, the godparents were
Our
there,
parents
plus
were
the
there, but not
father,
the mother.
but not the mother. Yeah, I never gave it a thought until,
Till
we were
when?
able to go.
When were you able to go?
When I had Beth,
Beth was the first christening you went to.
yes.
Thanks for showing up.
Did you know that?
And thank you for showing up.
I had another invitation, but
But back to the Magella, his mother told the father to name him Gerard Magella. And when he came home, he said his name is Gerard. I know a middle name.
Did your other siblings have
We
middle
were
names?
too poor.
Your other
No,
siblings had middle names?
Yes.
He didn't want to give you the Magellan middle name, he didn't want to burden you with that?
Don't you like that guy
Francis
already?
Xavier.
Don't you like
Did you get
that
your
guy
middle
already?
name when you were at the church on your birth certificate, not necessarily your baptism?
James
Is that what
Edward,
you're saying?
John Joseph, Thomas.
Well,
Thomas
they didn't do
Thompson.
things like they do now. They probably
Magella's
sent
kind
it
of
in
an
later or
unusual name.
something.
Really? Yeah.
What?
Magella would have been an unusual name. I mean, those other names, Edward,
Yes, but I'm
Yes,
sure.
but you probably would have heard of other,
kids at that time
Yeah.
with the middle name.
His
Magella.
mother made him take Patrick for confirmation. He never told me for 20 years because he hated the name.
don't write that down.
Yeah. That's not his middle name.
I never used it.
He didn't tell me for 20 years. I think
Because
he
your
had
father
heard
didn't
that
like
his
it
father
either.
didn't like
Right.
it, because it was his father's name. He probably heard that his
But
father
now
didn't
you
like
like it
so-
because you have a grandson named Patrick.
Yeah, they didn't even know, but they named his father's name was Patrick Joseph.
I didn't even know.
Jerry and
No?
Jerry and Paula didn't name him.
They
their
may have
kids.
heard somewhere that his name was
Yeah,
Patrick
the
Joseph.
sub-
Paula
Conscious.
told me she liked the name Patrick since the time she had taught school, and she was just partial to the name and was always going to have a Patrick. And the Joseph was after
Or
her
Pasquale,
grandfather.
whatever it turned out.
What would Roddy say would happen if he ate the food he is allergic to? I never heard of this. If I eat that, I'll break out in feathers? Is that what you said?
They got feathers
Goosebumps.
or goosebumps.
I mean, that's what hives is, right?
Hives.
You have to remember that some of the answers are Beth's ad-libbing.
No, that was all my father. Feathers. And there will be other people in the audience tomorrow that will know that one.
And how did Patsy start making potato salad anyways?
It's a common picnic food.
That's a good answer.
And why wouldn't your mother...
Mary makes the best, really makes the best potato salad.
Why wouldn't your mother-in-law give you her bread recipe?
She didn't have recipes
She
written
just
down.
made it up and...
She made from the time she was a child. And so she didn't,
She didn't
I didn't
Maybe
ask
read
her, I
so
didn't ask
much
her.
Through her, you know,
Right.
She made bread
teens
every
that
week.
she didn't even have a recipe.
She didn't have it.
She
She,
did.
there was no question, I never
All by
asked her.
rote.
You never asked her, but she never offered to show you. You didn't cook together? Did you
No.
ever cook together?
No, we didn't, but you know what she made? When you were a baby, and we had the 4 children,
Mm-hmm.
we still living in Boston, we used to go over there for Saturday night supper. She would bring hot raisin rolls out of the oven every Saturday night when we came, just for us.
I remember hot raisin bread.
Yes, and Frank's and
And your
beans.
enthusiasm for it.
But she, you know, we'd go over with the 4 kids to see her on Saturday night. She was a sweetie. She was really lovely. It was
Anything else you wanna say in
her
your defense?
sister-in-laws.
Not anymore, I've said enough.
He was her baby. He was her baby. Yeah, that is a funny story that when I had Sheila, told you about that. Mary was mine, and we went to a wedding, and Sheila was about 3, and I brought her over when Nana was sick and was in Mary's dining room. I don't know if you remember that. And so when we came back from the wedding, I was talking to her, and I said, oh, she said, where's the baby? And I said, well, she's out in the living room. She said, no, I mean my baby.
I was 42 at the time.
Still a baby.
That was the only time she ever said that.
Broke.
Since
Whatever you
Mary
say.
said it. Mary
The
doesn't say
devil you say.
Oh, the devil you said.
W. Oh, he has a lot. She
No,
did.
what does that mean, the devil you said? It was like you're making that up?
Yeah.
They really were
Well, my
things.
pockets thinks my hand is crazy.
My pockets thinks my head because I keep fishing in there for money.
Taking the money out.
Taking the money out. Pocket thinks my
Another
head is
white
crazy.
shirt.
She was a sweetheart, though.
Another white shirt will do you,
Yeah.
which means what?
Well, you're not as grand as you think you are.
Where does that come from? Another white shirt will do
It's
you.
an Irish thing.
Who knows?
What else?
What Joe used to think her name was Mary.
Oh,
Yeah.
he'd go over his catechism, and one of the questions, of course, is always, who made the world? And I don't know whether it was after so many times or what, but then she said, Pat McGinty and his pick and shovel. so told him that in school.
You can shove it. This would be God.
She
Or
used to
if
tell
somebody
her.
asked her what her name was,
Uh-huh.
she'd say Mary Ann Murphy.
It wasn't. No.
No, but they would say that. You know, Joe, I think, said that in
It
school.
was like a typical Irish name joke thing. Murphy.
Guess
Yes,
so. Her
But
name
her-
was Glennon.
Mary Glennon. Did she have a middle name?
A.
Ian,
Ann.
probably Ann, yeah.
Mary Ann.
It was Mary Ann, but it wasn't
But it
Mary.
was 2 names.
It was two.
Two
So
words.
Glennon, her name was Glennon.
Yes. I've been to Ireland, actually.
Oh, you've been to Ireland to her house?
And the Glennons. Glennons, Glenn. What other Irishisms do you have?
She married my father, and her sister married his brother. You knew that.
Right. Who married who first?
Well, she married.
She married
Who was the older one?
Well, the brother was older, but they both were widowers, and they both had 2 children before they got married again.
But she was the oldest in her family. So-
No, I'm saying
Yeah,
Owen was
but
the
I
oldest.
think he wanted to know what of the sisters.
The
were.
sisters.
Oh, yeah.
She
She was the oldest.
He was the oldest of the family,
Oh,
and she brought those 2 sisters over.
She brought her 2 sisters over here.
So she found the husband to them.
Probably.
First then. She
Yeah,
married
yeah.
first.
She
Then she
married-
got her younger sister to
Yes,
Yeah.
who
go
he
on
had
with the cousin
twins.
thing, like when.
How'd their first
cousin-
wife die?
Well, they think it was. They think it was either They used to call
But
it
Owen's
consumption.
first
It was
wife
probably
had
TB or
twins, boy and a girl.
cancer. You know, they had different names, but they. And yeah, the first. Dad's brother had twins.
And my sister married a Flynn.
Anyway, they're African
Yes,
twins
know
in
that.
the family.
Margaret Flynn married Bernie Flynn.
Well, yes.
And
There's a
Jerry's
little-
partner with Paul Flynn. We'll tie all this together for you.
Yes.
And I had a Gwynn in my class.
There you are,
Kathy
see?
Gwynn.
So what else did you want to know?
What do you want to know, John?
I'll tell you what.
Hmm?
So who was it that went back? Oh,
Oh, my father's